to the Eras Tour.
Hey guys, welcome back to Paper Cuts and Prose. So I have this fun idea. What if we did a SWOT analysis of the Eras Tour from a fan's perspective? It's something companies and creatives often do at the end of a project or year to reflect and grow anyway. So why not apply it to one of Taylor's biggest achievements to date? So a SWOT analysis is broken down into 4 categories: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm 100% sure that Taylor and her team are probably doing this exact same thing. And if ever anyone on her team or Taylor herself watches this, I hope I can help. And I'm for hire. It's basically looking at the Eras Tour as a whole and looking at what was great and what you would change or what you could do better for next time. We're going to kick off things with strength. Obviously, the global appeal of this tour and how the Eras Tour traveled to a lot of places, specifically United States, Latin America, Asia, Australia, Europe, and then back around for the final United States and Canada dates. All dates were sold out for every show, whether that be empty seats or not, which is a pretty big accomplishment. Economic impact. The way this tour boosted economies through tourism from hotels, restaurants, events in the cities, it was crazy. One thing I didn't like, but this has nothing to do with the Eras Tour, this is just a rant on the side, is how prices would increase. But I guess that's the market, that's supply and demand. I also love the fact that Taylor herself would donate to a food bank in every city that she stopped at. The diverse set list. Taylor had 9.5 out of her 11 albums, and I ranked it like that because she missed her debut album, her first album, and then also only had 1 or 2 songs from Speak Now. We'll get into those a little later. But a 3.5-hour show every night when the average concert is 1.5, it's crazy to think like the stamina and the dedication, the practice from Taylor, her band, crew, and dancers every night for us, the fans, is nothing that has ever been done before. The surprise song section and the occasional announcements. So having the surprise song section has been like acoustic section has been around since Speak Now tour, when Taylor would only do cover songs. And then from the Red tour on, it would be one of her songs. And I think it's such a fun old school tradition of Taylor. And I love how she added this because she didn't have to. It's already a 3.5-hour show. And I kind of get a little disappointed when I see people upset over what surprise song or mashup or they're comparing who had the better night. It's really not that deep. Like, I get it. We all want to hear our favorite songs, but I think we have to, like, come back and just be thankful that we were at the show because a lot weren't. I got Labyrinth twice, and what it did for me was make me appreciate the song more. The innovative production and costumes. I was fortunate enough to go to the Eras Tour 3 different times and all of the different legs of the tour. And I can say sitting in the nosebleeds for my Toronto show was almost better than sitting in the lower level because you got to see like the artistic designs for each era. It was gorgeous. I took a picture of every era in Toronto, which I didn't do in my previous ones. Also, Taylor having different costumes was a really, really fun way of keeping the show different. Not to say if she had the same costume for every show, like I would have been disappointed. That part never really mattered to me. I didn't play Swift Alert or Mastermind. I'm not really sure why, but it was such a fun experience for the fans. The cultural phenomenon. So it brought back community, feeling safe at concerts, inclusion, excitement. It got friendship bracelets back. I love that it brought everyone together, whether that be new fans, old fans, fans that have never seen her live, fans that have seen all of her tours. It just felt like a personal thank you to her fans. And the last, for the strength, some may probably categorize this more of a weakness or an opportunity, but dropping the meet and greets. I love that Taylor didn't do meet and greets for this tour. I think the pressure's off. You can just enjoy the concert. Now, like the unique ways of getting her attention on social media is just something so special. And when it does happen to you, the whole fandom notices. I also think choosing kids for the red hat was the best decision because if it was adults, it would have been worse, I think, than trying to be chosen for the meet before or after the show in the Eras Garden or whatever she would have called it. Let me know in the comments what you think she would have called her meeting room, because I just love the names that she usually comes up with. Now for weaknesses. Rollout dates. I don't understand who was managing these dates. First, I think it was very modest of Taylor to think she could do 27 shows originally, and I knew she would add more, which she did. She added 15 additional dates. What I do think is interesting is that Canada was not announced with the US dates originally, and it wasn't named the North American leg, as every artist and Taylor herself usually groups Canadian with US dates to make logistics easier. So if Canada was not involved, I pretty much thought that they were going to skip us, because her team thought we could probably go to one of the 52 shows closest to us in the US. But I think after Canadians spoke up, I believe her team added us into the second US leg. To be honest, I haven't been to a Canadian tour show since Fearless. Canada is a big country, and it's not always the most budget friendly to go to a Canadian show that is closest to you. Starting for Red and ending at Reputation Tour, I saw Taylor in the States. And the Eras Toronto show that I went to will be my first since Fearless, which I think that's crazy. Also, in her previous tours, most recent being her last tour, Reputation, she announced all the dates for North America, Europe, Australia, and Japan before the tickets even went on sale. And then the dates followed, which I think were around December 5th to 8th for Verified Fan. And then December 13th, her birthday, was for general sale. There was also a lot more communication through Taylor Nation and emails instead of it being just social media posts to like announce the shows, additional shows. They also had tips for buying with Verified Fan. This time with the Eras tour, it was all social media, which I get. Social media is a lot more present than it was through Reputation. I'll also talk more about Verified Fan when I get to that point. Ticket Monster. I get it. Ticketmaster and Live Nation have a hold on most every stadium or arena. I get that people are wanting Taylor to start her own ticketing platform, and I would love that, but I'm just not sure how she would go about doing it. She wouldn't be able to perform in the stadiums because Live Nation and Ticketmaster have the exclusive contract rights to 80% of the largest venues. Her platform, if she was to make one, would need to still have a partnership with Ticketmaster to some degree. And I think that's probably what we're going to be seeing for her next tour. I think there were two main reasons for this big kerfluffle. Was first, Taylor herself said they didn't handle the demand. They were the ones giving out codes, so I would think they would know how many people would be going into that queue. I also think you should have been able to put your code in before entering the queue. You wouldn't have additional people that didn't have a code being allowed in. I think that's also why the website crashed, dynamic pricing happened. Even though Taylor's team has said Taylor said no to that option, people were also losing their tickets through checkout. The only thing I actually think could have prevented this was if Taylor Swift did Taylor Swift ticks again. The original Verified Fan, not this garbage one that Ticketmaster likes to call it now. And then them doing random drops once the stage was set while the tour was in process. Looking at how many tickets were available for these drops should have went to more people waitlisted than only allowing Verified Fans access. And a lot of times, very few were successful. But of course, resellers were. Which brings me to my next point, reselling. We have seen other artists help with this. I don't understand why Taylor didn't, and I don't have an answer. My assumption is that her team got the fees regardless if the tickets were sold at face value or resell, because they all were originally bought at face value. And I get with the first leg of tickets, we didn't know this would happen and resale wouldn't have been this high. Then to not change it for the second leg for US and Canada, She definitely could have made the tickets non-transferable, and she didn't. It's a little disheartening because we have seen other artists do this before. Artists have canceled resell, and they also put it back into Ticketmaster so people could buy face value again. It would be really interesting to find out why her team didn't find a solution to the huge, massive reselling that came with this tour. VIP packages. If I'm going to spend 899 US, I expect a little more than just a poster, keychain, bag, etc. I'm not expecting a meet and greet. Looking at the most recent would be Sabrina Carpenter's VIP packages. I will post hers that it was better than Taylor for the Eras tour. Taylor used to have good VIP packages, so again, not sure why her team decided to stop for this tour. Some examples I think that just heightens a VIP package would have been a fun lounge, serving special drinks, photo op opportunities, special merch that you could only get with a VIP package. That's what I would be expecting for these prices. The packages were very lacklusting, if I had to find a word. All right, opportunities. Obviously, the biggest one I think is the verified fan. Verified fan to me has become a regular lottery, and you're just not guaranteed a code if a computer doesn't pick you. What her team should have done is what they have done for the Reputation verified fan, which was a separate thing called Taylor Swift Ticks. So Taylor announces the dates, I think in November 2017 for the Reputation tour. Then you would get a Taylor Nation email to register. This is where she created an exclusive program to get the best tickets in North America to the fans. You already had to be a part of the fan group Taylor Nation to receive this email. What the criteria would be is you would basically watch music videos, commercials, purchase merch. I don't think I ever did. Change your profile picture, vote for Taylor in awards, and buy a $1.29 single off of iTunes, which you would have already bought already towards the album. So you get the pictures. Everything that the fandom does now, just without the incentive. From there, you got an email. Since you participated in Taylor Swift Ticks, you then would be invited to shop tickets in a special pre-sale window. So you were able to set your city and your ticket budget limit. With how many booths you had would determine your date selections. Depending on how dedicated you were for booths, I think it honestly was fair. Whatever you put in, you deserved what spot you got. I think I was on the Thursday because I only did a lot of the free stuff. Like I just didn't buy merch, but anyway. Then when Loverfest was announced, people that already were registered and approved for Taylor Swift Ticks was invited to purchase a special pre-sale. Then on top of that, there was an additional sign up for another verified fan if you weren't one before. Speaking of Loverfest, I'm sad that we'll just never know what that tour would have been unless Taylor herself tells us. Another one to add to the Ask Taylor question note if I ever meet her long enough to ask her multiple questions. Please let me know in the comments, did she do anything similar in other places or was this just specifically for North America? Debut not being on the set list. So I'm seeing a lot of discourse from fans not liking it or not really even caring that it was left off. I just don't get it. It's her first album that started it all. If Debut wasn't here or a thing, she wouldn't even be doing this. I gotta say, I'm more excited for Debut re-recording than Reputation. And that is only because the glow up vocals that it's going to bring is just going to be so much better than the original, but you can't already change perfection. So I'm very interested to see what she does. It will move up your album rating list, guaranteed. Speak Now 2 I wish was longer. I'll take Enchanted because that's one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs ever. I also just don't understand why Paramore didn't get the same treatment as Phoebe Bridgers and Haim. I was really looking forward to seeing Castles Crumbling on the Europe leg. So maybe that's an answer we may potentially get in the documentary that I hope we get. The Eras Tour book. This is normally what these books are. They're kind of like scrapbooks of the tour, just pictures and some behind the scenes. If we don't get a video documentary, then I think it would have been nice for Taylor to just give a little bit more commentary because this was a very, very different and big tour. But I have hope we are getting one. Maybe for the 1 year anniversary or something. I also don't like how they could not find a supplier in all countries. Being a Target exclusive really hindered a lot of fans. If you didn't get it on the website because it sold out or didn't have a way to get it from the States, don't worry, there will be other chances. So please do not pay the resellers out there. And last but not least, the dreaded threats. The Eras Tour is for the masses. I say this very lightly, obviously, because I had the pleasure of going to 3 shows. Taylor is a marketing genius. She has been from the start of her career. But this was a huge marketing plan to get the new fans that joined in Folklore and the re-recordings to go together with the older fans into one tour. She knew us old fans would go to anything. She could perform in a landfill. And us old fans would follow her. I know I would. Taylor herself said in, I think, the most recent shows that ended, that she did this tour so that new fans would be able to experience the older tours. Brings everyone to the same starting place, which I think is great for the new fans. And for us old fans, it just kind of was like going back and reminiscing from the older tours. And I think that's really fun and beautiful. Essentially, this would have been something that an artist would do as a reunion tour or like a greatest hits tour. I think we got it because 2020 happened. But that's not the threat. The threat is just how big this tour got and how hard it was to get tickets. Before it actually became an even bigger thing than it ended, it already was hard to get tickets. So I'm just kind of a little scared for what is going to happen next. I'm excited whenever Taylor decides to tour again, and I hope there'll be a better handle on that part. Just how many people weren't able to go to this tour. I think it's just going to start being kind of a pattern. I always say, if you want to see her tour, you will find a way. I honestly believe that. Fans going to multiple shows. I don't care how you want to spend your money or time. I don't think the conversation should be this. I think my question is, why are we going to multiple shows? I'm guilty for it. Is it because we are in so much shock for our first show that we're not remembering it? Because that was Nashville for me. Or has this always been a thing and I just lived under a rock? I have only gone to one show since Fearless. The Eras Tour was an exception for me. Comment below if you've always gone to multiple Taylor shows, or is this something new that started with the Eras Tour? I have to say, as much as you don't want to admit it, this might be controversial, but if you signed up for verified fans multiple times in different places and won the lottery every time, you did take tickets from other fans. I should clarify because people are probably going to come at me in the comments for my 3 shows. I was given a code through someone on a Facebook group for my second show. And then for my third show, my mom was given the opportunity to purchase tickets for Toronto, and I brought all my friends. Very thankful for being a Rogers customer. If you purchased last minute reseller tickets, however, then you didn't, because those were fair game. If you wanted to pay those prices, have at her, you do you. Bots are not the main cause of reselling. I left all the controversial ones to last, but I've seen it firsthand. It's people who got codes and are now selling their tickets to pay off their student loans, putting a down payment on a house. You see it all. There was one story that really frustrated me that I heard through the fandom was 2 friends had tickets, and the one who bought the tickets sold the other ticket out from her friend for $5,000 and then gave her friend $150 back of what that ticket was worth originally. Friendship off. Like, I'm sorry. You are not a Taylor Swift fan. If you think that is a right thing to do when tickets were so hard to get, if you are a real Swiftie and cared for the fans, you wouldn't be jacking up the price to sell your tickets. It's not all robots scooping up the tickets. I think it's actual people that are just being greedy. Sadly, this has also become the normal occurrence for concert tickets now, which is unfortunate. I hope it changes because it's just so expensive to go to a concert now. Okay. Now bonus for ones that have all the categories. Live streams. The strength of the live streams, I think, was a lot of fans that didn't get tickets were able to watch this show. If it was every night or once in a while or just once, it was very nice of the streamers who took their time to find the best ones for us to watch. I want to say thank you because I always watched the live streams. Now, the weakness, people getting upset if they didn't get an announcement or Taylor didn't wear the outfit they were wanting. We need to remember before live streams became a thing for concerts, people would go into concerts blind. Every concert was new and exciting for you. When you're watching a live stream every night, of course, Taylor says the same script. It was a 3.5 hour show. It needed structure to stay on time. But if you were one that held off watching before your show, please comment below because I'm very interested. My one friend did it and it's wild. Opportunities. So I think Taylor Nation or Taylor Swift's YouTube could have really capitalized on this part. Once it became a huge portion of the tour, I don't know why they wouldn't. I know some streamers that got their channels monetized and they got so many followers for their channel through doing this, which amazing, great for them. But I would have loved a less blurry live stream from the actual artist. The threat, the only thing I can't really think of it other than the expectation will be the same for tours going forward. As I said, if you didn't get tickets to a concert, you can watch a live stream. You have to always remember the artist will most likely put a professional movie out. Taylor did, Olivia Rodrigo did, and I'm 100% sure Sabrina Carpenter will as well. Brand giveaways, contest, influencer suites. So the strength is obviously brands gaining followers, you having a chance to see the concert if you entered the giveaway. But my question is, why were there so many? Is that why there was no general sale? Like they gave those tickets to the businesses? Maybe they were buying like resell, but I know for sure for Canada, Rogers and RBC, who sponsored the Eras Tour to come, had a lot of tickets. Weaknesses. I just don't think it was a smart decision for businesses because as soon as a contest ends or the concert has ended, people will stop following them. Or if they did bring influencers to a concert, I don't know. How do you feel about that brand? The brand suites, I think, again, for an opportunity would have been instead of bringing influencers that were just following the Eras Tour for clout, bring real fans that have a following. That would have been smarter than just a poser in a sequin outfit. Threats. Customers and fans are not going to fall for this again. It was kind of a one and done fail, I think. I know my chances of winning a pair of 2 tickets is pretty slim, and I will look at my chances probably before entering moving forward. It also kind of just left some sour images of certain brands that were a part of this. All right, so this was my SWOT analysis on the Eras Tour. I hope you guys liked it instead of just kind of like rambling on of my thoughts about it. Please let me know what yours would be. I would love to read, have conversations, maybe hear some things that I didn't even think of. Yeah, just comment below. We're all mourning the end of this tour. I know I am. Thankfully, we can and we have the movie to go back to. The Eras Tour was nothing but spectacular, and I can't wait to see what Taylor does next. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye!